What's that one up? Is that Samantha up at the top?
That is Samantha.
Yeah, the Fernando does jump.
I see a Juan.
Yep.
Yep. There's a Cole up there.
Adriana is, I always think of the girl on Sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
didn't end well for her, by the way.
It did not. Well,
by the way,
loose lips. They'll sink some ships, Lance.
Enjoy that Coca-Cola product here in the South. It's not everywhere throughout the states. Okay, we'll get to Auburn Final Four, what's happened overnight, some future odds and all that after we tell you about odds from our friends at Hemphill first. They bring you Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. I'm interested because you had to play on the UConn women. Was it 14.5?
It was.
A freaking 14-point win?
It stuck at 14. So the first quarter, I had it on a secondary TV. I was just sort of paying attention. The Paige Becker's chick is unbelievable.
She's unbelievable.
But it was, back and forth first quarter, and then they kind of stretched that lead and had it out to 14-15, but it stayed 14-15 the entire game. I think they got up 19, but they just never could get over the hump.
And so it was a bad beat.
It wasn't a bad beat. It was just I'll tell you, if you played it last night either way, and you don't care anything about women's basketball.
If I play a women's basketball game and lose, that's a bad beat.
It is.
I've had to watch the game.
Yeah, if you had to sit there and watch 4 quarters of this really boring game where you knew it was never in doubt that UConn was going to lose, it was just whether or not they were going to cover the number with no Juju Watkins on the other side. So, yeah, we lost. We lost multiple games by a half point last night.
When I saw 14 today, I was like, boy, I swear I think Lance said it was 14.5. That's a bad beat.
It was.
When somebody didn't have their number one player out there.
We'll have winners up. We'll bounce back from some of those bad beats last night. Lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trusted name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues, any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. If you want to play those winners, you can do that easily with a promo code next round.
That's right. Where Duke, this game has ticked up a little bit. Now a 5-point favorite over the Houston Cougars. Important to some in this room, Duke and Houston.
I like that, Brown.
Yeah, Duke now a 5-point favorite. The Florida Gators still a 2.5-point favorite, holding as a 2.5-point favorite over the Auburn Tigers. If you just want to bet on the overall winner, the numbers have changed a little bit. Duke now minus 103, Florida plus 275, Houston plus 420, Auburn plus 480. The order hasn't changed, just the overall numbers have changed a little bit. That's all right there at mybookie.ag. You want to play the baseball games today where the Dodgers are favored over the Braves? You can do that. Atlanta looking for their first win. You can play the Final Four. You could have played that women's game last night we were just talking about. All right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round gets you a 50% deposit bonus when you sign up at mybookie.ag and use code next round. 50% deposit up to $1,000. And also some help there in the casino. How about a $10 casino chip you can play with in the casino and the live casino right there at mybookie.ag. That's when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
So I was on 2 different radio shows this morning in the state of Florida. It didn't seem like they were big cities, but they were nice people. And
Sarasota?
I don't know where they were, to be honest with you. One of them, is Lake City a place? Is that
sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's just up and down the coast. Just good guys, and they were
Welcome into the Pennant Grace. It's a rough day-ish. It's not our usual cheery, happy opening, and we're only, 4 episodes into this
The sun
season?
is shining, the skies are blue, and we are going to weather the storm together. You guys, sorry for being distracted as you're starting. I was just dropping jerks and Profar from my fantasy team, the Mayberry Bears.
It's been a rough 24 hours for Braves country. We're here to get you through it. We are entitling this group therapy for obvious reasons. It doesn't seem like it can get any worse from here, but we said that a lot last season.
Yeah. So it was a rough day yesterday. That's not, this is a no-spin zone. It was a rough day and what's been a very rough start for the season. And it is hard to not drop down into despair. And so you got to try to remember big picture and continue to look forward and remember that you've barely played, this season is just started. Robert in the chat says season may be young, but the panic button is being hit. We have a Pennant Grace panic button.
And I think it's time to hit it.
We're 5 games into the season.
I think at this point, and by the way, my name is Emily Grace McWhorter. This is Ush.
Hey.
We're the Pennant Grace, and row back at you 20% off if you go use code PG20.
I'm wearing Roback today because if you can't play good, at least look good.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So yeah, I personally, button. Here we go. It's been hit for me.
All right, Robert, you got your wish because she just hit
I
it.
hit my PG panic button, but you are not hitting yours yet.
I'm not going to hit mine yet.
Okay.
I am a delusional optimist. I love on our rundown today, if you guys could see this, it says sadness, wailing, ashes, sackcloth.
Yeah, so I put together a rundown for us every Tuesday and Thursday, and I didn't know how to summarize what we're feeling, but I thought that was the best way. I was going to wear my sackcloth today, but I didn't really go with the vibe, and I was going to count on you to bring the ashes, but
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah, no, stay classy, not ashy. So let's get into Jerickson Profar.
Let's do
So
it.
just to catch everyone up, Jerickson Profar signed by Atlanta coming off a career season in San Diego last year, a 3-year, $42 million deal. And I talked about this solidifies the outfield, and do the Braves potentially have the best outfield in Major League Baseball?
So
I am stupid.
well, this is what I want to get into. Before we go any further, we're going to read the statements from the Braves and from Profar. But I want to stop you there because you mentioned that $42 million that
Yeah.
the Braves spent. And when you look at the history of the Braves transactions, that's a pretty big check for the Braves to extend.
It is.
Are you under the impression that this could have been taking place the last year and his success was on the back end of using the HCG enhancer, and we potentially paid $42 million for someone that will not ever be able to reach that height?
For fool's gold? Yes, on could've.
Could've,
Which is your
okay.
question.
Yeah.
Now, he says in his statement that you'll get to that he was tested like 8 times last year, and he's never tested positive before. And so I don't know, and I don't know if we will find out, but it is one of the first thoughts that I had. Friend of the show, Golf Gardner, texted me. He's like, 3 years, $42 million was not based on his career numbers. It was based in a lot,
Last season.
in large part, on last season.
Right.
And so that is a fear. And it is a possibility, but I don't know if it's the case.
I think time will tell on that. It is important to note. And you guys, if you're watching, you know this because you're probably a Braves fan. If not, we'd love to have you in Braves country, but you may not want to be here right now.
Yeah.
It's an 80-game suspension. And so he will come back this regular season. However, even though things look very gloomy right now, when you talk about the postseason and the Braves, we're very, very early into the season, Profar will not be eligible for the postseason.
He will not. So I guess the 80 games that'll be late June.
Yeah.
When he returns. But if Atlanta were, and some of you are laughing, if Atlanta were, it's 5 games in, guys, to make the postseason, he would not be eligible for the postseason roster.
Let's get into some statements here. I'm going to read the Braves statement first. So they released this yesterday. We were surprised and extremely disappointed to learn that Jerickson Profar tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance in violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Prevention and Treatment Program. We fully support the program and are hopeful that Jerickson will learn from this experience. So what is HCG that he was taking? Apparently it's a pregnancy hormone.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's what's a little unique about this. It's a hormone that is found in women when they are pregnant.
Yikes.
And I'm not...
I did not know that.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure the correlation in terms of the form he was taking it in.
Is Jerickson Profar pregnant?
Maybe. Probably not.
Has anyone asked that?
I don't know. So,
The statement for the Braves, get your take on this. Very straightforward.
very to the point.
And you could feel
A little...
we ain't happy.
Yeah.
And nor should you be.
No.
Justified. I thought the team handled that perfectly in their statement.
Now, Dave says, hey guys, my insurance approved me, so here I am. Welcome to therapy,
Hello,
Dave.
Dave.
We're happy you're here.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to Profar's statement. This is addressed to Braves fans, so this is to you guys. Today is the most difficult day of my baseball career. I'm devastated to announce that I have been suspended for 80 games by Major League Baseball and the Commissioner's Office for testing positive for a banned substance this offseason. Okay, that's a little note there, this offseason. This is especially painful for me because anyone who knows me and has seen me play knows I'm deeply passionate about the game. There's nothing I love more than competing with my teammates and being a fan favorite. Yikes. Not starting off well in Braves country.
No.
I want to apologize to the entire Braves organization, my teammates, and the fans. It is because of my deep love and respect for this game that I would never knowingly do anything to cheat it. I have been tested my entire career, including 8 times last season alone, and have never tested positive. I would never willingly take a banned substance, but I take full responsibility and accept MLB's decision. I'm devastated that I won't be on the field with my teammates for the next 80 games. I look forward to competing again at the highest level this season upon my return. What do you make from that?
I guess, again, about as well as you can handle that. I don't know. All of those read the same. I haven't read one of those statements that I can recall that didn't say, I'm devastated. I never would willingly take something that was banned. So these kind of all feel the same to me.
It's interesting. I think the off-season note leads me to believe that this might have been stirring, if you will, that there might have been some concern about a potential outcome.
So I was going to ask you that. How long have the Braves known?
I don't know. I think that when we're going to get into some of the moves that the Braves did with the roster that might have raised some eyebrows.
Chat too. If you're on with us live, get in the chat room. Let us know what you think. How long you think the Braves have known?
I'm going to go, and this is complete speculation. Obviously, shockingly, we're not a part of the front office of the Braves.
Not currently.
Yeah,
no.
Currently. I think that they've known for a week.
Okay.
A week.
That's about what I was thinking, but I've heard other theories that they've known
What
longer,
have you heard?
So I don't know. It makes sense. We'll get into Stuart Fairchild later. It makes sense the week. I can't imagine they would have known too much longer than that.
No, I've also seen people online discussing how, the lack of seems like team chemistry / slow bats are due to this. I don't think so. In my opinion, I think that is a completely separate issue, unfortunately. But I do wonder, you're beating a dead horse at this point when it comes to the issues that the Braves are facing. Every facet right now seems to be not firing on all cylinders. It's just a bad situation. When you look at the offense, you look at obviously not the outfield, you look at pitching, it's just bad.
But partner, the Profar news was the only bad news of the day, right?
No.
No!
What?
When it rains, it pours. So I am deeply concerned about Ronaldo Lopez, and I'll tell you why. Number one, what is he listed as going on the IL for? Right shoulder inflammation.
That's never good.
That is the same thing listed that sidelined him August, September of last season.
Oh, I did not pick up on that.
Right shoulder
Okay.
inflammation. Ronaldo Lopez had, much like Jerickson Profar last year, had the season of his career and blew expectations away. We're going to take this guy. Let's see how he does. He's mainly been a bullpen guy. We're going to try to make him a starter. He's had some experience at starter. We'll see how this goes. Maybe he can be a bottom lineup. Ends up being an all-star, has a fantastic year.
Incredible.
One of the reasons for the Braves' success. And I am now worried that we never see him be able to replicate that.
Well, I don't think that's a unrealistic fear. If he cannot stay healthy, that has been something that the Braves have been struggling with. Naturally, I would have expected him to have a slight drop-off, especially to start the season. But when you mix this in, I would have to agree with you because to reach those heights again, one, you need incredible health.
Yeah.
But two, you need consistency.
Yeah.
And he will not be getting either of those things. And then you naturally have to account for the drop-off that comes coming off an incredible season that Profar was probably going to have this year anyways.
Right. So before we get into the outfield, what about the pitching with I don't know how long, I don't know how long Lopez is going to be out. They put him on the which list?
I thought it was 60.
Oh, I don't think it was that long. I thought it was the 15. And it was retroactive to an
I've
earlier
seen,
date. So once Spencer Strider returns, you've got Chris Sale.
15.
And you've got your Spencers, Strider and Schwellenbach. And
Wait.
by the way, for as bad as that Padres series was, and it was bad, and we're going to talk about that, swept in the series, obviously the problems they had scoring runners in scoring position. In Game 3, Spencer Schwellenbach, 6 innings pitched of 1 hit baseball, 0 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. I think the future of the Atlanta Braves starting rotation is all about the Spencers.
Oh,
Strider and Schwellenbach. When I was a kid, there was a show called Dated Reference Time, E.G. When I was a kid, there was a show called Spencer for Hire.
Spencer for Hire?
Spencer for Hire. And that's what the Braves have. They have Spencer for Hire, but they got double the Spencer. I think these two guys, these are two young pitchers. Strider is already a star in the making, but Schwellenbach needs to be in that discussion as well, and he was fantastic in Game 3. That was the one they lost 1-0.
Right. Is it bad that the best news I've had all day was realizing that Ronaldo Lopez is only on the 15-day IL?
Yeah, and you had it at 60.
That's honestly, if your expectations are that, you can't be as disappointed.
I tell my wife that all the time. So it's at 15. I do not believe it will not be. I don't think it'll stay at 15. I think it extends. I just don't know how long that it extends.
So we did recall Bryce Elder.
Yeah.
From AAA.
Correct.
Gwinnett. Thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, how many chances has Bryce Elder had? And they've been diminishing returns on those results. But I'm good, especially with where they are. You still have him,
yes,
as part of your system, and if you're going to have him there, you need to continue to give him opportunities. And if you're not going to give him opportunities, you need to part ways and move on to someone else. So he's the next logical man up. He will pitch in Game 3 against the Dodgers against Blake Snell. But Blake Snell, by the way, 1-0 with a 3.6 ERA. So Bryce Elder will come in, and we'll see how he does.
So he went 2 for 5 with a 6.52 ERA in 10 starts for Atlanta last season.
Not good.
Not
but I'm
good.
pulling for him. I like the guy.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him come back.
So again, there's a lot of issues right now.
Yeah. So that's pitching, but then you have the issues in the outfield.
So let's move into that conversation.
Okay.
You were very excited about this outfield. We all were.
Yeah.
Of course. Why would we not be? And in this conversation too, I want to talk about kind of circling back to Alex Anthopoulos and some offseason moves. Robert says, I would like to see us quit trying to recreate 2021 and go out and spend some money because no way we are hurting for it.
He ain't lying.
So let's kind of approach this from that conversation. How significant was the offseason, maybe lack of moves now, maybe than you thought a week ago?
It's more. I mean, we discussed that, but even before we had the first pitch, we were surprised that the Braves did not do more, and now that is starting to show. If anyone has equity with this fan base, it's Alex Anthopoulos. If you go back and thinking of what he took over between the John Hart, John Coppola, was that who ended up getting banned from baseball? And, Brian Snitker taking over, and the success that they've had since then. They've been to the playoffs every year since 2018, 6 division titles, a World Series title, tremendous amount of equity. That does not mean that you won't be questioned. And, if they don't right the ship and some of the guys that they have already on roster don't start, contributing, because where are those patented Anthopoulos diamonds in the rough for this year? And we may get those. We
may. I would argue, and I'm curious what you guys in the chat and those watching are thinking. I feel like this is a big blow for the faith in Alex Anthopoulos and what he did this offseason, because I think the problem is I didn't hear one positive thing about the Braves offseason from national media, local media, Braves fans. It was very confusing.
People liked the Profar move, and that was about it.
That was about it.
But, this is a guy that last year took Chris Sale was not the Chris Sale that we know today. There was a lot of uncertainty around Chris Sale. Chris Sale comes in, has the best season of his future Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Cy Young winner, has revitalized Chris Sale's career and his career trajectory. Aforementioned Ronaldo Lopez comes in and just blows away expectations. A emerging star on the staff in Spencer Schwellenbach. But there is a lot of attention on Anthopoulos and the lack of movement. And as we continue to stockpile arms, the farm system's not the greatest.
No.
And it's not the best that it's been in recent years for sure. But there are a lot of arms, and now it's starting to feel like, dang, we're going to have to part with a lot of these arms to try to keep it together.
So this is my question, too. I just, to me, when you look at this situation, and I think some Braves fans would agree with this, why can't we have both? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't we find these diamonds in the rough? And then why can't you spend a little money, too, in the process?
Correct.
The Braves were profitable last season. I don't, obviously we're not in the books either, not in the front office, not in the accounting department either of the Braves. But it feels like there's been some opportunities to extend some cash out that hasn't been happening. And these are situations where you kind of analyze and you look back and you say, yes, did Alex Anthopoulos bring the Braves to a World Series? Yes. Have they had 6 division titles? Yes. However, the last 2 seasons, since that title, last 3 seasons, it hasn't been clicking.
Right. Not like it was.
Not like it was. Now, let me also add this. Rumors of Snitker retiring are now in the discussion.
Yeah.
Brian Snitker kind of had an interesting comment, if you will, that was made. And now those rumors are also starting to swirl.
Yeah. Well, as we look at the outfield, with all of this going on, some of the, bigger, more long-term type things, looking at the here and now, as we're in,
Bring us
just
back,
starting
Coach.
a series with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who maybe you hadn't noticed happen to be pretty good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Here's your outfielders joining. You got Michael Harris set the second in place. You have Ron Acuna who will return
Eventually.
in May.
In May. It's looking at mid-May from what I've seen.
Brian De La Cruz is a newcomer. He joins Jared Kelenic, Eli White, and the newly signed Stuart Fairchild, who they got from the Reds for cash. He's primarily a center fielder. Last year batted, he had 209 at-bats, batted .215, 8 homers, 30 RBIs. So you're going to see these guys getting playing time. Now, the guy that's going to benefit the most from this is going to be Kelenic. It's going to be hard for just not see him get I would imagine he's going to play and start in the majority of the games for Atlanta moving forward. And he's not started off hot at the plate.
No.
Now, the team has not started off hot at the plate. It's not just Kelenic, but Kelnic's a guy, and we talked about this, that really, really needs a good year at the plate, and he's batting 176 5 games in.
Yeah. And I think, too, when you look, no one is batting over 200.
No.
That's kind of humbling to look at.
It's very humbling.
It's not good. Now, Michael Harris, again, he was the one that sort of got things going last night. How do you replicate a million Michael Harrises?
Yeah, I know.
mean, we saw that too in postseason last year. He has been a guy that has been reliable, not as reliable as you may hope, but he's been a mainstay throughout, postseason last year, and now kind of breaking a slump. And it's so weird to say all of this considering we are only 5 games into the season.
I think one of the great assets the Braves have are the guys in that clubhouse. Michael Harris, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Matt Olson. These guys that I think can keep a positive vibe and a positive culture there.
Yeah.
That doesn't get too down, that continues to play, that continues to believe, that battles through this. And Michael Harris had the quote and says, hey, we got to focus on the guys that are here today on this team right now. And we're going to take it, day by day and all those cliches. But I think it helps having that, having those veteran guys there. If they can keep that together, that'll be good. But we're talking, EG, about, how bad it's been. So how bad? So they're 0-5. Only the 6th time in franchise history. If you recall, this is the longest running franchise in American sports, so it's been around a long time. They went before the aforementioned Michael Harris home run last night. 29 straight innings without a run.
We were on pace to break the record.
Yeah. And Tyler Glasnow, I was talking to the Duke of Denham, Reed Taylor, El Presidente, noted Dodgers fan and aficionado. Tyler Glasnow was fantastic last night. He went 5 scoreless, 8 strikeouts. He was really good. And the Braves faced some really good pitching in San Diego as well. But, yeah, that's how bad we're talking. So they've really not been overly really overall have not been competitive in these games. And so you're playing San Diego, you're playing now what most consider the best team in baseball. By the way, tonight, game 2, 9:10 Central Time.
Ooh. You'll be asleep.
Bad for some of us.
Yep.
Chris Sale against Dustin May. Game 3, Bryce Elder that we talked about, taking on Blake Snell. Off Thursday, and we'll be back with you at Thursday, either in studio or we'll keep you posted on that. And then you're going to finally be at home, 3 with the Marlins and then 3 with the Phillies.
I want to mention one more outfielder, Alex Verdugo.
Yes.
I haven't talked much about him. So where do you foresee his role in all of this? Could his grit and how he can kind of clutch up in certain situations be a move that really benefits the Braves? Also hearing from Duke of Denham, El Presidente, apparently in the clubhouse, he's not the best, if you will.
Yeah.
How do you foresee him, and what do you make of that move that the Braves did in acquiring him? How do you feel like that will impact, over the next couple of weeks before Acuna comes back? I
don't know. My gut tells me it ends up not being much of a contributing factor. But I may be wrong. I obviously hope I am.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I'm torn. I feel like I don't know. I think that he could be a difference maker short term, but I feel like the Braves have to make somewhat of a move.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a long-term solution. So, and he was a big part of the Yankees' run, but I don't feel like long-term he will be a solution to what the Braves need.
So, as you would probably expect, being 0-5, Atlanta is in last place. Behind the glass today, we have, of course, Tyler Lionel Johns.
We do.
And Scott Forrester. Some of you may know Scott Forrester is a Chicago White Sox fan. Scott, your team is in the AL Central. If you don't mind, could you check in and let us know what place the White Sox are in?
I believe we're in second right now. We're 2-2.
Tied for first.
Tied for first, Forrester.
First place.
First place.
You pull for a first place team.
How does it feel?
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how that happened.
Yeah, tell us.
We've got 4 starting pitchers who have yet to allow a single earned run this season. That's how that happened.
Man, that must be nice.
I can't even imagine.
No, that sounds so good.
That's so awesome. I'm jealous of the White Sox.
That sounds so good. Here in studio, MLB Network talking about the Profar suspension there. So, yeah, so Scott's White Sox in first, the Braves last place. Last place. They have never started 0-5 and made the postseason.
Oh, yay. Look at that notable injuries list right there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is MLB Network. They've got
Ronald Acuna Jr., Joe Jimenez, Sean Murphy, Ronaldo Lopez, Spencer Strider.
Joe Jimenez
is a lot.
Is on the 60.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all that to say, guys, it has been a rough, wailing, gnashing of the teeth.
Yes.
We're not throwing in the towel yet.
No. Doom, despair, agony, as we used to sing on Hee Haws, your second dated reference of the day. But listen, I'm telling you what, if my team ain't going to play well, I'm still going to look my best.
Absolutely. And how do we do that?
So for those that crave activity, Rowback is for you. Whatever you do, whatever that activity may be, Rowback has you covered. www.rowback.com. And when you check out on your first order, enter code PG20, saves you 20% off your entire order. Whatever activity you crave, Rowback has the apparel for you. And if your activity is no activity, they got you covered there too.
They do. Workwear, athleisure, you name it, Roback has it. We'd love for you to check out their website using PG20.
I have a new shirt
Okay.
from Roback, arrived yesterday.
Nice.
I am saving it to debut
Thursday?
Easter Sunday.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Easter's
It
coming up.
is so Easter. I'm gonna blow your mind with this
Okay.
when you see this.
Okay.
Yeah, when you see me maybe holding a basket of eggs in this Roback shirt, you're gonna say that's
It's going to change my life.
yeah, that's the greatest Easter moment since the first Easter.
Well, listen, we appreciate all 256 of you guys. We love you.
We do.
We are very happy that we can contribute to the group therapy session that is.
I'm seeing there Treyas saying the Braves DFA Chavez. This must have just happened.
this just
May
break?
have sorry. Pennant
Hold
Grace
on.
breaking news possible
Hold
here.
on.
So my partner's going to look that up to see. So as those of you know, Jesse Chavez joining the Braves, his 7th stint with the Braves just called up.
I'm not seeing anything.
So yeah, I haven't
Hold
seen that
on.
either.
Hey, keep in mind what day it is, guys.
Oh, he got us. He got us so good on that. It is April Fool. It is April Fool's Day today. Yep, it is, Dave. April Fool's.
Oh my gosh.
Joke. And look who the fool is. Because you were ready to go
just-
home. You're ready to go home, and I said, "Wait a minute! Breaking news."
We just got pranked.
The guy that pinned all the Braves' hopes on Jerks and Profar just got
Wow.
the wool pulled over his eyes.
Dang. Kick us while we're down.
I mean,
That was
to
good,
tell
though.
ya.
You got
yeah,
us.
You got us. You
Dang.
got us.
I don't really know how to end it after that one.
Well, let's hope that the Braves conjure up a win, and it would be nice to have a little offense tonight. You got
would.
Chris Sale behind the mound. You got your best pitcher, your ace. You're playing the Dodgers. Let's turn this thing around, and let's start it right now.
Let's do it. On that note, we will see you guys Thursday at 12:15. Make sure you're with us every Tuesday and Thursday. And then we're going to do some post-game reactions. Not this week, though, because Ish will be asleep.
Well, Game 3, 7:38 start time.
That's not bad. That's
I'm
not
going to be
bad.
watching that one.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you are following us at the Pennant Grace. You can keep up with all things Atlanta Braves. And until next